Let us see second method to find initial solution. The method is lowest cost entry method or matrix minima method. In this method, we examine the cost matrix, that is, we examine the cost matrix of the transportation problem and select the cell with lowest cost and allocate maximum possible quantity in this cell. The cell with the lowest cost is selected, and in this cell we allocate maximum possible quantity. Looking at the requirement and quantity available, we allocate maximum possible quantity of goods in this cell. If the lowest cost is found in more than one cell, we can select any one of such cell and make the necessary allocation. So if the lowest cost is found in more than one cell, we can select any one of such cell for allocation. Again, we examine the cost matrix and select the cell with the lowest cost and allocate there as much as possible. This process is continued until all the available quantity is exhausted. So repeat the same process. Look at the cell with the lowest cost and allocate there as much as possible. So this process is continued until all the available quantity is exhausted. Let us solve one example on this method. We will solve same example. Find the initial solution of following transportation problem by matrix minima method. So this is a same examples which we have solved using northwest corner rule. Now we solve it using matrix minima method. So let us solve this example using matrix minima method or lowest cost entry method. Select the cell with lowest cost and allocate their maximum possible quantity. Look at the costs of transportation 274,331,547,162. Look at the cell with lowest cost. Now we observe that this is a cell with cost of transportation 1. Similarly, this cell, fourth row, first column, this is a cell with the lowest cost entry. So there are two cells with the lowest cost entry. So in this situation, we can select any one cell for allocation. So let us select this cell, second row, third column, and allocate maximum possible quantity in this cell. Now what is the requirement at this warehouse D3? Requirement is 18. And what is the supply available at this second factory? Supply available is 8. So allocate maximum possible quantity. So we can allocate how many units? We can allocate 8 units. Because only 8 units are available, so all the 8 units are transported from second factory to the warehouse D3. So we observe that all the units of second factory are transported, so no supply left here. So we cross this row, that means we will not consider this factory now for further allocations. Alright, again look at the remaining or reduced cost matrix. That is, now there is no second row. First row is there, third row is there, and fourth row is there. Look at the costs in this cell and select the cell with lowest cost. Now again, we find that this cell, fourth row, first column, contains the lowest cost. So in this cell, we allocate maximum possible quantity. What is the requirement here? 7 is the requirement. What is the available quantity at this factory? 14. So we can allocate 7 units out of this 14 because only 7 is the requirement at this warehouse. All those 7 units are transported from the factory O4. So the requirement satisfied for the first warehouse. So we cross this column because now there is no need of further allocation in this column because requirement is satisfied here. Now look at the remaining cells. Again, select the cell with the lowest cost 744762. So 2 is the lowest cost. So we select the cell with the lowest cost and allocate maximum possible quantity in this cell. How much required? At this warehouse, 18 units are required and 7 are available. So allocate maximum possible quantity. So we can allocate 7 units because only 7 units are available at this factory, fourth factory. So all 7 units are transported from the fourth factory to the warehouse D3. Now no units left at the fourth factory. So we cross this fourth row. Now there are 4 cells left and the cost of transportation are 7447. Select the cell with lowest cost. So now there are 2 cells. First row, third column contains 4 and third row, second column also contains 4. 4 means it is a cost of transporting 1 unit and the lowest cost is now 4. You can select any one of these 2 cells. So let us select this cell. How much quantity available? 5. How much required? Now what we have done, we have transported 8 unit to D3 from the second factory and we have transported 7 unit from O4 to D3. So 15 units are already transported. So the here now the requirement is only 3. So how many units required at D3? 3 units. How much quantity is available at the first factory? 5 units. And how many units required at the warehouse D3? 3 units. So allocate maximum possible quantity in this cell. So we allocate all the 3 units out of 5. 3 units are transported from first factory to the third warehouse. So 2 units left now and requirement satisfied. At D3, all the 18 units are transported. So we cross this column now because the requirement satisfied. Now only 2 cells left. What is the requirement at D2? Requirement is 9. How much units are available now? 2 plus 7. 9 units are available, 9 units are required. So we transport these 2 units from the first factory to the second warehouse and 7 units from the third factory to the second warehouse. So 2 plus 7 is 9. So requirement satisfied and supply also exhausted. So in this way, all the supply exhausted and all the requirements satisfied. So we get a solution using matrix minima method or lowest cost entry method. So what is the solution? By lowest cost entry method or matrix minima method, how many units are transported from first factory to the second warehouse? First factory to the second warehouse, 2 units are transported. From first factory to the third warehouse, 3 units are transported. Second row, from the second factory, all eight units are transported to the warehouse D3. So X23, that is from second factory to the third warehouse, 8 units are transported. Third row, X32, 7 units are transported from third factory to the second warehouse. And fourth row, X41, that is from the fourth factory to the first warehouse, 7 units are transported. And from the fourth factory to the third warehouse, again 7 units are transported. So this is a solution. It is a feasible solution because row requirements and column requirements satisfied. 2 units are transported from the first factory to the second warehouse and 3 units are transported to the third warehouse. So 2 plus 3 is 5 and 5 units are available at this first factory. Similarly, second row, 8 units are transported from second factory to the third warehouse and 8 units are available at the second factory. So row requirement satisfied. Similarly, third row, 7 units are transported from third factory to the second warehouse and 7 units are available here in this factory. Now from fourth factory, 7 units are transported to the warehouse D1 and 7 are transported to the warehouse D3. So 7 plus 7, 14 and 14 units are available at this factory. So the row requirement satisfied. Similarly, column requirement, what is required at the first warehouse, 7 units required. So 7 units are transported from O4 to D1. What is required at D2, second warehouse, 9 units are required and out of 9, 2 are transported from the first factory and 7 units are transported from the third factory. So 2 plus 7 equal to 9. So column requirement also satisfied. In the third column, 3 units are transported from the first factory, 8 units are transported from the second factory, 7 units are transported from the fourth factory to the third warehouse. So 8 plus 7, 15 plus 3, 18 and 18 is the requirement at D3. So column sum restrictions, row sum restrictions satisfied. So this is a feasible solution. Also, how many positive allocations are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 positive allocations are there. So there are exactly m plus n minus 1. M means number of rows, 4 rows, 3 columns. So 4 plus 3, 7 minus 1 is 6. And there are 6 positive allocations. Solution contains exactly m plus n minus 1. M means number of rows, n means number of columns. 4 plus 3, 7 minus 1 equal to 6. Exactly 6 positive allocations. So therefore, it is a basic feasible solution. This feasible solution is called basic feasible solution, and these 6 variables are called basic variables. And corresponding cells are called basic cells. So what are the basic cells? X, first row, second column. So this is a basic cell in which we have made positive allocations. First row, second column, first row, third column, then second row, third column, third row, second column, fourth row, first column, fourth row, third column. So these are the basic cells, and these variables are called basic variables. Now, is it a non-degenerate basic feasible solution? We try to join these basic cells or positive allocations using horizontal and vertical lines, and if we get a loop, then it is a degenerate. If we do not get a loop, then it is a non-degenerate. So let us join these basic cells using horizontal and vertical lines. So this is a basic cell. We join with this. Now this is a basic cell. Then this is a basic cell. First cell is a basic cell, and like this. So if we try to join these 6 basic cells or positive allocations using horizontal and vertical lines, loop does not form. So it is a non-degenerate basic feasible solution. We say that these positive allocations are at independent position, and it is a non-degenerate basic feasible solution. So in this way, we find initial solution of a transportation problem using the lowest cost entry method or matrix minima method. Now let us see third method, an important method to find initial solution of a transportation problem. So it is a better method, better than northwest corner rule and matrix minima method. So initial solution by Vogel's approximation method or VAM, or it is also called unit cost penalty method. In this method, we write the difference between the lowest and the second lowest cost entries, lowest and second lowest cost entries in each column and row. So in each column and in each row, we find the difference between the lowest and the second lowest cost entry. These differences are called penalties. We now select the row or column for which the penalty is largest. So first penalties are calculated for each row and column, then select the row or column for which penalty is largest. And if there are more than one largest penalty row or column, then we can select any one. So if we have a choice or 2 rows containing the same largest penalty, we can select any one row. Or if there are 2 columns with the largest penalty, then we can select any one. So if there are more than one largest penalty row or column, then we may select any one of them. In this largest penalty row or column, we allocate the maximum possible quantity to the least cost cell. If we have a row or column having the largest penalty, in that row or column, we select the cell with the least cost and allocate maximum possible quantity to the least cost cell so that the requirement or availability condition is satisfied. When we make an allotment, either requirement condition is satisfied or available condition is satisfied. That is either supply exhausted or requirement is satisfied. We then eliminate this row or column from further consideration. So if supply exhausted, we delete that row, or when the requirement is satisfied, we delete that column from further consideration and construct the reduced transportation table. That means we consider the transportation problem without this row or column for which the supply exhausted or requirement satisfied. So it is called reduced transportation table with revise row and column totals. That means now there is a changes in the total supply available and total requirement. So with that changes, we write the revise table. For the reduced transportation table, we recompute the column and row differences. That is, we again calculate the penalties for each row and column and repeat the procedure of allotment. That means we select the row or column with the largest penalty, and in that row we select the cell with the least cost and allocate maximum possible quantity in that cell. Then either supply exhausted or requirement satisfied. If supply exhausted, we delete the row. If requirement satisfied, we delete the column and construct the revise transportation table with revise total. The process is continued until all the allocations are made, all the supply exhausted and all the requirement satisfied. So this is called a Vogel's approximation method. So in this method, we have to calculate the penalties for each row and column, select the row or column with the largest penalty, and in that row or column, we select the cell with least cost and allocate maximum possible quantity there. Then either one row is deleted if the supply exhausted, or a column is deleted if the requirement satisfied. Then we delete that row or column and construct the revise transportation table and repeat the process on this revise transportation table. Continue this process until all the supply exhausted and all the requirement satisfied. So let us solve one example on this method, Vogel's approximation method. We solve the same transportation problem using the Vogel's approximation method or using VAM. Now let us calculate penalties for each row and column. So we will calculate first set of penalties. What is a penalty? The difference between the lowest and second lowest. In the first row, lowest cost entry is 2 and second lowest cost entry is 4. So difference of 4 and 2 is 2. Then in the second row, lowest entry is 1, second lowest is 3, the difference is again 2. Then in the third row, lowest entry is 4, second lowest is 5, 5 minus 4 is 1. In the fourth row, lowest entry is 1, second lowest is 2, the difference is 2 minus 1 is 1. Now column penalties. First set. Lowest entry is 1, second lowest is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. Second column, lowest entry is 3, second lowest is 4, 4 minus 3 is 1. Third column, lowest entry is 1, second lowest is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So we have calculated penalties for each row and column. Now we select the row or column having the largest penalty. So the largest penalty is 2 because the largest penalty occur in 2 row. Now there is a choice, we can select any one row. So let us select first row. So this is a first row. In the first row, we select the cell with the least cost and allocate maximum possible quantity in this cell. So what is requirement here? 7. What is the available quantity? 5. Allocate maximum possible quantity. So we can allocate 5 units. We can transport only 5 units from first factory to the first warehouse D1 because only 5 units are available at the first factory. So all 5 units are transported to the first warehouse. So supply exhausted, and out of 7, 5 units are transported. So now 2 units the requirement left. So what we do, we cross this row from further consideration because no units left at this warehouse. We now consider the revised transportation table. What is a revised transportation table? So this supply for the second factory remains same. For the third factory, supply remains same of 7 units. For the fourth factory, supply remains same. It is of 14 units. But requirements are now changed. For the first factory, now the requirement is 2. And for the second and third, the requirement is as it is 9 and 18. So this is called a revised transportation table because now there is no first row. So whatever left is called revised transportation table. We have made this allocation in the cell C11. So let us write down that the first allocation is made in the cell first row, first column. Now second set of penalties. Now the numbers are same, so penalties remain same. Difference between the lowest and second lowest is 2. Here also the difference between the lowest and second lowest, 5 minus 4 is 1. Here the difference between the lowest and second lowest is 1. Column penalties. First column, the difference between the lowest and second lowest is 1, second lowest is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. Now here in the second column, lowest entry is 3, second lowest is 4, 4 minus 3 is 1. Here the lowest entry is 1, second lowest is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So the largest penalty is now 2. It is for this row, second row, or the largest penalty is for the first column. So you can select second row or you can select first column. So let us select second row. In this second row, what is the cell with lowest cost? So this is a cell with lowest cost. So in this cell, we allocate maximum possible quantity. So what is the requirement here? 18. What is the available quantity at the second factory? 8. So 8 units are available, 18s are required. So maximum we can transport 8 units from the second factory to D3. So out of 18, 8 units are transported. Now the requirement is for 10 units. Now all the 8 units are transported from second factory to the third warehouse. So we delete second row now because supply exhausted at the second factory. So we have made an allocation in the cell second row, third column. Let us calculate third set of penalties. Now there is no first row, there is no second row, only two rows left. So for the third row, we again calculate the penalties. Difference between the lowest and second lowest is 1. For the fourth row, the difference between the lowest and second lowest is 1. For columns, what are the penalties? First column, difference between the lowest and second lowest, 5 minus 1 is 4, 6 minus 4 is 2, 7 minus 2 is 5. So 5 is the largest penalty. We allocate in this column because third column is having the largest penalty. Now in the third column, what is the cell with lowest cost? This is a cell with lowest cost 2. What is the requirement? Requirement is 10. What is the available quantity? Available quantity at the fourth factory is 14. Allocate maximum possible quantity in this cell. 10 units required. So 10 units are transported from the fourth factory. So out of 14, 10 are transported. So 4 units left at the fourth factory. Requirement at D3 satisfied. So we delete this column from further consideration. Now these 4 cell left. Again we have to calculate the penalties. Fourth set of penalties. For the third row, difference between the lowest and second lowest entry. So difference between 5 and 4 is 1. First 2 rows are deleted, and in the third row, difference between the lowest and second lowest is 1. In the fourth row, difference between the lowest and second lowest is 5. Then column penalties, difference between 5 and 1 is 4, difference between 6 and 4 is 2. Third column is deleted. Now here in the third step, we have made an allocation in the cell fourth row, third column. Alright. Now what is fourth set of penalty? The maximum penalty is 5. It is for the fourth row. And in the fourth row, what is the smallest entry? This is a cell with smallest entry 1. Allocate maximum possible quantity here. What is required? 2. And what is available? 4 units are available. So we allocate 2 units because only 2 are required. So requirement satisfied, and we cross this column because requirement satisfied. Out of 4, 2 units are transported. So now 2 units left. Now these 2 cells left at D3. This is a second warehouse. Requirement is 9. And how many units are left now? 7 plus 2. 9 units are left. 9 are required. So we allocate 7, or we transport 7 units which are available at third factory to D3. So supply exhausted at the third factory, and the remaining 2 units are transported from the fourth factory to the second warehouse. So supply exhausted at the fourth factory, also requirement satisfied at the second warehouse. In this way, all the supply exhausted and all the requirement satisfied. And these are the positive allocations: 5, 8, 7, 2, 2, 10. So this is a solution by Vogel's approximation method. So let us write down the solution, the feasible solution, that means the solution satisfying row restrictions and column restriction. What is the row sum restriction? So 5 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to 5, 0 plus 0 plus 8 equal to 8, 0 plus 7 plus 0 equal to 7, 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 10 is equal to 14. That is a supply available at fourth factory. That is 14 units are transported and 14 unit is the available quantity at the fourth factory. These are the row sum restrictions satisfied. No column sum restriction. 5 plus 2, 7. 7 is the requirement. 5 units are transported from the first, 2 units are transported from the fourth factory and is equal to the requirement at the first warehouse. At the second warehouse, 7 plus 2 is equal to 9, 8 plus 10 is equal to 18. So in this way, column sum restrictions and row sum restrictions satisfied. So it is a feasible solution. So the feasible solution by VAM, Vogel's approximation method, is in the first row, how many units are transported from the first factory to D1? 5 units. So X11 equal to 5 units. Then how many units are transported from second factory to D3? 8 units. So X23 equal to 8. Third row, how many units are transported from third factory to second warehouse? X32 is 7. And fourth row, X41, fourth factory to the first warehouse, 2 units are transported. Then from the fourth factory to the second warehouse, 2 units are transported. Then from the fourth factory to the third warehouse, 10 units are transported. So this is a solution by VAM, Vogel's approximation method. Also, there are 6 positive allocations in this solution. M plus n minus 1. M is number of rows, n is number of columns, 4 plus 3, 7 minus 1 equal to 6. So the solution contains exactly 6 m plus n minus 1 positive allocations. So therefore it is a basic feasible solution. And these variables, 6 variables are basic variables and corresponding cells are called basic cells. Other variables are 0 and those variables will be called as non-basic variables and those corresponding cells will be called as non-basic cells. Further, these 6 allocations are at independent position. If you try to join these cells, which are basic cells or positive allocations are there in these cells, if you try to join this cell by using vertical lines or by using horizontal lines, then circuit or loop does not form. So these positive allocations are at independent position. So it is a non-degenerate basic feasible solution. Also, these m plus n minus 1, that is 6 positive allocations are at independent positions. Therefore, this solution, basic feasible solution, is a non-degenerate basic feasible solution. So this is how we find the solution by VAM. So we have to calculate penalties in this method, and after calculating the penalties, we select the largest penalty, row having the largest penalty, or column having the largest penalty, and in that row or column, select the cell with least cost and allocate maximum possible quantity in that cell. Then either supply will exhausted or requirement satisfied. If supply exhausted, we delete that row. If requirement satisfied, we delete that column and consider remaining matrix. It is called revise matrix. So we consider the revise matrix with revised total and repeat the same process for the revise transportation table. Continue this process until all the supply exhausted and all the requirement satisfied. So this is a VAM.